After the release of the 3 new TV spots for I Know What You Did Last Summer, I believe I have maybe found out who the killers are.
What are you waiting for?
Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. First of all, this is just speculation, but I feel like I might have found out who the killer or killers are for the new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled at all, if you don't watch trailers or TV spots, or even if you do, but you don't dissect it as much as I do, then maybe don't watch this video, because what I'm about to say might very well come true. So I'm just going to do what I normally do with my trailer breakdowns, but what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to try and do everything in chronological order from the beginning of the movie to what I believe could be the end of the movie. If I don't get it in order, then please don't come back and shout at me, guys. I'm going to try it as best as I can, but also within the chronological order, I'm going to try and let you know who I think the killer or killers may be. First off, of course, we're going to get the accident that happened in 2024, where the group of people are going out. I don't know if they're at a party, a wedding, or whatever it is they're at, but they're out and something wrong is going to happen. Now, I do believe that one of them will probably try and play chicken or do something stupid with the rest of the group, maybe to try and act smart. But you can see here there's a van that nearly hits one of them and they all got a fright. Now, in one of the new TV spots, you can clearly see there's a different car that's passing them by round about the same time. So what this tells me is the events of that night probably weren't their fault. I think that someone is being chased. Either the car is being chased or the van is being chased by one or the other. So I think there's going to be some sort of criminal activity that's happening and these kids just happen to be mixed up in it. It kind of takes you back to when the kids nearly killed a killer, basically, and that killer came back to then kill them. So I think it's going to be a similar situation where someone in one of these vehicles is going to be a bad person that comes after them. Now, apologies, I can't tell you the names of all these characters. I don't know the names of them yet, but what I will tell you is if I think they're innocent or not. Now, this guy, I initially thought he was going to be one of the killers, but after seeing the TV spots and rewatching the trailers again, I don't think he's going to be the killer. But we'll get into that more. Although this girl here looks like she's going to be one of the main characters, the main survivors, the next Julie James, there's something about her that's still kind of questionable, but again, I will get into that. Here's our main suspect in my eyes. You can see she's wearing the t-shirt. It's Ray's bar. She works at Ray's bar, so she knows Ray personally, and I'm assuming she knows exactly what happened back in 1996 and 1997. This guy, I don't suspect him at all, but again, we'll get into that. This girl here is definitely not going to be one of the killers. This is, of course, them driving away from the accident back in 2024 as well. This is the confusing part because we can see here this one is set, or this moment is set a year after the events of the beginning of the movie. She obviously gets her I Know What You Did Last Summer card, and it looks like she's engaged now. She's engaged to this guy. I don't think she knew this guy a year ago because he wasn't part of the accident. He wasn't there when the accident took place. But if you do rewind yourself back to that event, you can see that she's wearing what looks to be a wedding / engagement ring. So did she get engaged before? I did ask that question the first time I saw the first trailer, but the question still remains, how many times is this girl going to get engaged if she wasn't already? Regardless of all of that, we know that her fiance is the first person to die, even though he wasn't part of the events of what happened a year prior, but at least we know he's not the killer. That also eliminates her as being the killer. Even though we knew she wasn't the killer anyway, it definitely eliminates her as being the killer. Now, unfortunately, we don't see enough of Billy Campbell's character in either the 2 trailers or the 3 TV spots that we've had so far, so we can't say what extent he's going to play in the movie, but we can't rule him out as being either a killer or someone who knows something that's happened, or maybe he's even related to one of the killers. We know that good old Ray likes to pop up to say that he knows what's happening and he wants to try and help. Something about Ray, and I don't know why this is, but there's something about Ray that's a little bit fishy, pardon the pun. I feel like he's up to something. Maybe he's not the killer, but we'll get into that more. Maybe he's not the killer, but I think maybe he knows something that the audience don't know. Now, I'm not quite sure why everybody has congregated to this little church to discuss what's happened, but I do believe that obviously the police are there, so somebody has been killed and everybody is worried, so they've called everyone, or they've called a meeting because it's a small fishing town, they've called a meeting for everyone who wants to come to discuss, to say, we're looking after you and we want to try and make sure you're safe. And we think we're going to get the killer, basically. And there is a scene in one of the TV spots where you see two people hanging upside down, so the community know what's happened, and I think that's why they've called this emergency meeting. Even after the emergency meeting, I do believe that the kids have called their own emergency meeting to say, I think this is for us. We've all got these letters, and it seems to be that this killer is coming after us. Throughout that time when people get letters, etc., I think we're going to get maybe double bluffs, I don't know, but I think maybe we're going to get some scenes where each individual will get either a letter or a warning sign. With this girl working at Ray's bar, with her knowing possibly Ray's past, then she goes to Ray for some advice, and she tells the rest of the crew that this has happened before, this has happened to my boss, and then this is where Ray gets involved. This girl here doesn't have any interactions with the rest of the gang at the beginning of what we think is the beginning of the movie, but she's obviously one of their friends, or at least someone who's trying to get some help, and I think some of the characters are there trying to help her. I think it's possible, though, that this girl is a Shivers character. She might be related to Helen Shivers. Maybe it's her niece, or probably isn't. Maybe it's her cousin. It could be a younger sister, if she ever had a younger sister. But I think she may be related to the Shivers family, because I think this scene here is from that Shivers department store that Helen worked at with her sister. It then cuts to this scene with this girl who looks like she's trying to help the girl that I think is related to the Shivers family. But as you can see, when it cuts to this scene here, they're no longer in that department store. This girl has made her way to what looks to be Ray's diner, Ray's bar, because you can see some of the bar stuff there. And there's some traps that are sitting there already. So if this is Ray's diner, how does he not know that all these traps are here unless Ray is one of the killers? This girl gets away at some point. She's still wearing the check shirt, so it's obviously her. And the fisherman or fisher person is trying to attack her. Now, remember the boots that she's wearing there, because as she's trying to scuffle and get away, the fisherman gets to her, and you can see that there's two characters here. The sus girl at the right and one of the main girls at the left. They can see a body falling down, and it's obviously that girl with the check shirt, because you can see the boots. We do get some more scenes of what looks to be the basement or the back rooms of that department store. So I think the Shivers store will play a prominent role in some sort of killing event. And whatever that event may be, this is the aftermath of it. You can see the girl there again with the pop socks on. She survived what happened. The girl with the blonde hair leaning down, she's obviously not part of that chase scene. And the girl that I think is maybe related to the Shivers, she's obviously been one of the victims, and she's died in this scene. This guy, again, I thought he was probably going to be one of the killers, but I don't think he is. I think he's just going to be one of the victims, because as you can see here, he's got the message at some point. So this scene might be earlier on in the movie, but he's fighting against one of the killers here, and his shirt doesn't look as if it's got any blood on it at this moment in time, but you can clearly see later on that his shirt here has got blood all over it, and he might very well die in this scene. But there's also this guy here who gets attacked at the same scene. You can see that it's outdoors somewhere. You can see the trees around them. These two guys might be these two bodies that are hanging upside down, but again, that's not 100%. People have asked that, what is that person, or who is that person in the background? I think it's possibly just a mannequin that the fisherman or fisherwoman puts their costume on down in the basement somewhere, and they take it off to go out hunting later on. I don't know. If it's somebody standing there, then they're standing very still, because every scene that we see this mannequin-like figure in, they don't really move. So I think it's just a mannequin. Wherever they are, though, you can see there's bars here when they're cleaning their knife. So I think it's a place where they keep some of their victims. So even though it looks like some people might die in the trailer, they maybe just wound them to hold them down there until it's time for the big reveal. For the life of me, I can't figure out who this is. I think it might be the girl with the blonde hair, obviously, because she's got blonde hair, but I don't know who else it could be. They try and cut it to make it look like it's the girl who I think is related to the Shivers, but that girl is wearing a check shirt in that scene, whereas in this scene here, whoever it is wearing a black top or a dark blue top. And it's obvious here as well that the person that's attacking her is female. It's also obvious that they're on the boat. You can see at the right-hand side of this image here, if you've got the chair for the front of the boat. So whatever is happening on that boat, you can see that Ray is jumping onto that specific boat with the girl with the red top, who's one of the main characters. He's coming on to what looks to be save the day. The girl with the red top has still got a red top on here, and Julie is comforting her, but she's comforting her not on the boat, but back at Ray's bar. I can't pinpoint where this scene is going to take place in the movie. It's at night time, so it could be the night before, or it could be the lead up to the finale, but this is the girl being attacked by the fisherman or fisherwoman in the cemetery. So there's going to be a nice big cemetery chase scene, and I'm looking forward to that one. Whether she dies or not, I've no idea. I thought she might be one of the main characters to survive, but she could be the new Helen Shivers, where she dies, but we don't want her to. We're back at Ray's bar yet again. This scene tells me that this girl here is one of the killers. Now, I've always thought she was a killer to begin with, because it's a female killer, I think, in the movie, at least. But this one, for me, seals the deal, because they're back at Ray's bar. There's traps all over the place. So either her or Ray, or both of them, have set traps for people. Now, she's holding on to a locket in this scene, and I know we got a locket in the first movie. Maybe she's related to people from the first movie. I don't know. Or maybe she's related to people that were at the beginning of this movie. I think her name is Stevie. She's played by Sarah Pigeon. I think that's her name. Sarah Pigeon, and her name is Stevie. So I think Stevie is one of the killers. But I think the way it's looking from the trailers, guys, is Stevie is definitely the killer. But for Stevie to be the killer and set all those traps in and around Ray's bar, I feel like Ray might be one of the killers as well. Now we've got to think of a motive as to why Ray would be one of the killers. Well, the only explanation for me is Ray is considered one of the crazy guys around this little small village town, and nobody likes him, and he's maybe just felt hard done by all these years. Julie left him, he's got nobody, he's got nothing, so what else can he do but linger on what happened years ago? Now, when we go back to the beginning of the movie, when the car nearly hit one of the kids, there's two cars there, so it's a two-car chase, so maybe Ray or somebody else is trying to cover something up, and the kids just got in the way, and then the same story unfolded after that a year later. These kids are trying to cover something up, whereas whoever's trying to kill these kids is probably trying to cover their asses as well. They're seeing these kids as witnesses to some sort of crime that's went on, and these kids are oblivious, not realizing that they were witnesses to a crime. So it's like both of them are trying to chase each other to cover up what's happened. So that's my estimated guess as to how the movie begins right up until how the movie ends, from the scenes that we've saw in the trailers and the TV spots. And for me, I think Ray and Stevie are the two killers in the movie. And if you want to get a bigger twist than that, maybe, just maybe, Julie could be a third killer, or it could be Julie and Ray. I do believe Ray and Stevie are my highest suspects on the list, but if I had to choose a third one or remove one of those two favourites, Julie would be my third favourite. So what are your thoughts on that, guys? If you know the answer, if there has been any leaks, don't spoil it for anyone. Just guess if you think you're guessing. If you tell me in the comment section, this is what happens, without telling me it's just an opinion or a guess, I'll have to hide you from the channel, because I'm not spoiling it in a way that I know. This is just what I think might happen from what we saw in the trailers. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you think. And as always, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!